Hey up now then, how they doing? Welcome to the Steelcityman channel. I love that bit. Right, today, well, I promised you two things yesterday. I promised you another poem. I also promised you an explanation of the two-fingered salute. If anybody saw me doing that, I'll think I'm being rude to them. Anyway, it all started at the Battle of Crécy. Some say Battle of Agincourt in France. That was in 1415. But it all began in, be about 70 years earlier, at Battle of Crécy, when the Welsh, mainly Welsh, and English longbowmen made absolute mincemeat of the flower of French nobility on battlefield. Basically they charged British lines, they charged downhill, they got stuck in mud, and archers, very similar to what happened at Agincourt as well, just cut them to pieces with their armour-piercing arrows. Big victory for England. And from then on, every archer that was captured by the French had the two fingers that he drew the bowstring back with chopped off, so he could never actually draw another bow again. It is recorded that Henry V said in a speech before the battle that the King of Spain had vowed to cut 3 fingers off. But anyway, it's down to 2 now. So at the Battle of Agincourt, this is where the abuse bit comes in. At the Battle of Agincourt, there were mainly Welsh archers and again some English. And to taunt the French before they charged, they held the 2 fingers up as though they were saying, come on then, cut them off if you can. And that's the basis of the taunt, up yours, which I frequently do to COVID-19, as you've seen on my videos. So that's a basic explanation of the two-fingered salute. Hope you've enjoyed it. So to get to the nitty-gritty of this, and I'll have to keep getting up because the sun's on my lens. I can't, well, it's still recording. I can't tell whether it's still recording or not with sunshine. Beautiful day. So right, back to poetry. What I'm going to do today is, I was torn between 2 poems by Rudyard Kipling. Oh no, I can hear the purist shout, not Rudyard Kipling. Bloody hell. In some quarters he's got a terrible reputation. He's certainly not very PC nowadays, certainly not very politically correct. A lot of his poems are said to glorify warfare, colonialism and imperialism, certainly racism. But you must remember, when these poems were written at the height of the British Empire, that was the language and terminology that certainly English people used. It was very racist. I'm torn between 2 poems. One's called Tommy Atkins, well, just Tommy. It's quite a famous, well-known poem. The other one is called The Fuzzy Wuzzy. That is, yeah, it is racist in its nature. But it's also quite grudgingly respectful. I'll settle on the Fuzzy Wuzzies and I'll read you that, and you can make your own mind up. I've got bits of paper all over in this book. There's so many of his poems I do like, so forgive me if I do read. It's quite a long poem. So this is entitled Fuzzy Wuzzy by Rudyard Kipling, and it's basically about the Sudan Expeditionary Force and the early campaigns. And he starts off, "We fought with many men across the seas, and some of them was brave and some was not. The Paytan and the Zulu and Burmese, but the Fuzzy was the finest of the lot. We never got a ha'porth change of him. He squatted in the scrub and hocked our horses. He cut our sentries up at Sukim, and he played the cat and banjo with our forces. So here's to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, at your home in the Sudan. You're a poor benighted heathen, but a first-class fighting man. We gives you your certificate, and if you want it signed, we'll come and have a romp with you whenever you're inclined. We took our chance among the Khyber Hills. The Boers knocked us silly at a mile. The Burman gave us irry-widdy chills, and a Zulu impy dished us up in style. But all we ever got from such as they was pop to what the Fuzzy made us swallow. We held our bloomin' own, the papers say, but man for man, the Fuzzy knocked us holler. There is to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, and the missus and the kid. Our orders was to break you, and of course we went and did. We sloshed you with martinis, and it wasn't hardly fair. But for all the odds agin you, Fuzzy Wuzz, you broke the square. He hasn't got no papers of his own. He hasn't got no medals nor rewards. So we must certify the skill he's shown in using his long two-handled sword. When he's hopping in and out among the bush with his coffin-headed shield and shovel spear, an happy day with Fuzzy on the rush will last an early Tommy for a year. So here's to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, and your friends which are no more. If we hadn't lost some messmates, we would help you to deplore. But give and take the gospel, and all we'll call the bargain fair. For if you have lost more than us, you crumpled up the square. He rushes at the smoke when we let drive, and before we know he's hacking at our head. He's all hot sand and ginger when alive, and he's generally shamming when he's dead. He's a daisy, he's a ducky, he's a lamb. He's a ninja rubber idiot on a spree. He's the only thing that doesn't give a damn for a regiment of British infantry. So here's to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, at your home in the Sudan. You're a poor benighted heathen, but a first-class fighting man. And here's to you, Fuzzy Wuzzy, with your Eric head of hair. You big black bounding beggar, for you broke the British square. So you can see grudging respect that British Army of the day had for the Sudanese hillmen, the Fuzzy Wuzzies as they were called. Some of the terminology might seem a bit strange, but I'll just go for a few. A Fuzzy Wuzzy was the Sudanese hillman, the warrior. And that's a reference to the way he had of arranging his hair. Paytan were a mountain dweller of the Indian northwest frontier. When he talked about hocking the horses, they crept up at night and slit the horses' tendons so that British Army couldn't use their horses. Cruel but very effective. Knocked us silly at a mile. That's a reference to Boers and their amazing marksmanship. They could shoot a British soldier through the head in one shot from a mile away, and that were with the ancient rifles of the time. So, you know, that's pretty good shooting. And that excellence at bow marksmanship actually defeated British forces in both the Boer Wars. Irrawaddy chills, that's the hot and cold sweating fevers that you get from malaria. And the impi is, you probably know that, it's a body of Zulu warriors, an impi. But there you go, it's written in the language of the day. It is very racist. it does tend to glorify war. It does respect the fact that the Fuzzy Wuzzies were one of the extremely few forces to actually break the British square, which was the mainstay of a British defensive position. So there you go. And the Martinis that's referred to are the Martini Henry rifles. Martini Henry rifles, which were extremely effective for their age. And to say that the Fuzzy Wuzzies just had spears and hide shields, the Sudanese hillmen did extremely well to get anywhere close to the British square, and they broke it. So there you go. Rudyard Kipling is a strange, well, he was a strange character. He had quite a rough upbringing. He was born in Bombay in India in 1865, died in London in 1936. But it was shipped off from India, which at the time he thought of as a paradise. He was shipped off to India at 6 years old for his schooling, and had a terrible time. He was bullied and beaten, and he didn't do very well at school. He was a spoilt little brat. Then they found out he was extremely short-sighted, which explained his bad performance at school. And eventually, as he grew up, he went back to India and worked as a journalist. First of all, I think it was in Lahore, and then another provincial paper further south, which were a bit bigger. That's when he started writing about his, well, he wrote several novels, Jungle Book included. I think that must be his most famous. And that's when he started writing his poetry. He wrote lots and lots of essays. I think the easiest thing to do is to look up Rudyard Kipling on Wikipedia, and there's quite a simple but comprehensive outline of his life and what others thought of him. People like George Orwell, H.G. Wells, they didn't think much of his style of writing at all. He was labelled an imperialist, which his poems reflect. He was accused of glorifying war. A lot of his poetry is about struggles at British Army against the various nations that they conquered, particularly India. But if you read that, it's quite enlightening. It'll only take you a few minutes, unless you get drawn into it and start following links here and there. Then you might be there for some time. But I urge you to do it on Wikipedia. It's simple to understand, and it's quite comprehensive. Anyway, on this glorious afternoon, I want to say ta-ra for now. I'm going to do my usual salute. Up yours, COVID-19. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow with another one. Might be another Rudyard Kipling one. I fancy reading Tommy. It's quite good, that. Ciao for now. See ya.